Well, hello, good evening, welcome, my math friends, to a hopefully brief tutorial, a little video on making our chapter review notes. This will be an extra credit opportunity if you want to do this. My friends, try to do this tonight or at least get started on it. I'm going to go ahead and make a one, maybe 2-page review of the whole chapter. We want to try to distill everything down into very simple notes and have it all on maybe 1 or 2 pieces of paper. That's the goal. This will be great for Dana because she lost her notebook. It's like, I was thinking about that. At first I was like, oh, that sucks. But then I thought, actually, you know what? It doesn't even matter. We've done so much work now that a lot of this stuff is probably internalized pretty deep inside you guys. So you could just open up a new notebook or like if like a Laura, she was saying her notebook's just getting all spread out and discombobulated and disorganized. Doesn't matter. You just start fresh, and probably within a page or 2 we can write down the essence of everything we need to know. And now that it's pretty deep inside you, you really don't have to write that many notes because you'll already like know it basically. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start it with you, and then I'm going to keep working on it off the video, and I'll have something for us tomorrow. But if you want to extra credit, you keep working on it yourself. Make your own outline. I'm just going to outline the chapter. So I'm going to start by coming to the outline here. I'm going to come into quadratic equations. I'm basically just looking, just take a quick look at everything we've done in this section. Quadratic equations, you know, ax squared plus bx plus c equals something, usually equals 0. And we solve that quadratic equation, and we know we can have different methods we can do. We can use the factoring method, we could use complete the square method, and we could use a quadratic equation. And if you remember, we decided to complete the square method, we won't do a mandatory test question on that, because that's really not as important. It's kind of it's very specific. Then you have the discriminant of a quadratic, which gives you clues about the roots, whether you know it crosses the x-axis or not. Then you have the sum and product of the roots, and hopefully we can remember that little formula, and we can do little problems with that when they give you little clues. Of course, those problems get a little tricky. And same with the discriminant. You know, I think those are the problems that have the what did you call those? Yeah, those were the problems that had the sign diagrams. I had to pause the video, I forgot. So we might want to like pay special attention and do an extra example or 2 in there. Then quadratic functions, that just means y equals. So we start to get into the graphs, and you start to get into, like, you know, find the axis of symmetry, find the vertex, find where it crosses the y-axis. And then you have, hey, what if I give you the graph, can you find the quadratic? Going back the other way, be a little bit trickier. So maybe like a extra practice problem or 2 there, where functions meet. You know, when you have 2 quadratics that cross and touch each other, or maybe you have a line in a quadratic that just touch once, or maybe they touch twice. So once again, maybe we need to do an extra practice problem or 2 with that. And then problem solving in quadratics, if you remember, that's when you had like 2 consecutive integers whose product equaled 108, something like that. And then you'd have to set up the problem right, solve it out. And then finally was optimization, when you found vertexes, because you found like the top or the bottom of the parabola, and then you solve a problem. So when you look at those, and you just, as I talk through them, hopefully in your mind, lots of little seeds are popping off, and you're like, yeah, I kind of remember that. And that's good. And then the devil's in the details, of course, so that's when we want to do more practice problems to really we want to get really honed in. So by Thursday, when you see a problem, you know immediately, oh yeah, that's a problem that comes from that section where I'm going to work with a discriminant, or that's a problem that's going to come from that part where I'm doing where functions are meeting. That will be good if you have that level. So for now, let's just do a nice quick review. So I'm going to jump a little like summary of everything, and I'm just going to talk you through how I'm going to start this, and then let you, if you want to, do it more on your own for extra credit, or tomorrow I'll give you what I came up with, and then let you just start to practice on the problems. So I'm looking at the first section, and I'm just going to glance through it. They're giving me, you know, here's something I could put in my notebook. Maybe I wouldn't put it quite so formally. I would just make it in, you know, in a way that I understand. And I'm going to see, hey, the roots of the solution, right? Remind myself of the terminology they use. That's the values of x whatever x is that makes that true. And I know in my mind that means we're across the x-axis. And they're reminding me I can use factorization methods. I can use complete the square method. I can use quadratic formula, and even technology, right? I could just look at it on a graph. And then they're going to go through and they're going to give a few examples of each one of those methods. And I'm just going to kind of look at it and look at a couple of example problems. And just depending on my level of comfort, maybe I'm going to add a couple of these examples into my notes. Or if I'm pretty much like, yeah, I've done these things so many times, I don't really need to make an example, then I'm not even going to like include that. So I'll wait and see. And then maybe on a separate sheet of paper, I would do an example problem or two. But I'm not going to do that for the notes. I'm just going to try to do like a little skeleton or an outline. So then I'm just going to go on down to the next section and just do that same thing. And hopefully I can get the whole book in 1 or 2 pages of paper. Maybe it turns into 3 sides. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll just have a nice general overview. And if you do it yourself, it'll be a lot more powerful. I think just going through the steps. So, and I'll give you some extra credit if you guys get that done. Either tonight or you could work on it tomorrow in class some too. So I will see you tomorrow.